We'll be taking some questions. You can either direct the questions to one specific debater or to both if you would like. Is there any questions? You guys can proceed. Okay.
Anna, you made the statement that all have sinned and therefore are deserving of death. That is, if we don't fulfill the law, we are deserving of death. In the Old Testament, if I kill my neighbor's ox, I am not to be put to death for that. I need to replace that neighbor's ox. That is a case where I have sinned, but the punishment is to replace the neighbor's ox. Before God, I have sinned, and if I don't repair the relationship between myself and God for that sin, I would be put to death. Or when I die, I am not going to go be with God. That is an example of a place where you have sinned, where you should not be put to death. That would seem to be counter to your argument.
I don't see how it is. If in the Old Testament you have to replace an ox, in the Old Testament, if you're a girl and you're on your period, you get out of your house, you're killed. So obviously we don't have the same civil laws as what. Maybe am I not understanding your question?
No, your counter argument of a woman on her period can't leave her house is unbiblical.
Oh, okay. Well, but we do know that there are other things that we don't follow that can be murder. For example, if you're homosexual, you're to be killed, and we know that we don't follow that to this day. So, what I'm arguing here is not that we shouldn't have consequences for our actions. What I'm arguing is that when it comes to ending the life of a sinner here on earth, we don't have that authority anymore. Jesus already fulfilled that law. He already died so that we don't have to die. He already died for that. So does that make sense? That's what I'm arguing here. Not that you can go out and do whatever you want. Nacho used the cheap argument. He said, you know what, you can just go out and have no cops. I'm not saying there shouldn't be a justice system. I'm saying that when it comes to ending the life of someone who broke the law, and especially when you only isolate one sin as murder, as if murder was any worse than idolatry or being a liar or being, immoral. I mean, you can't do that.
Is there any other questions?
So if God
I'm sorry,
yeah.
can you say who you're asking?
Oh, not
Yeah,
I put it in that.
yeah. You can stand up. So.
No thanks. So if he's so down for killing murderers and whatnot, how come he didn't? How come when Cain killed his brother, he didn't kill him on the spot? He just gave him a scar and let him go.
Remember the other covenant was in Genesis 9. Cain and Abel was in Genesis 3. And so Genesis 4, and so it was before. No, God hasn't instituted this in the first creation covenant. The first creation covenant was given to Adam and Eve. There was no such thing as death back then. But then once God started all over again with Noah, He started a whole new creation covenant, a reconstitution and reinstitution of it. And that's when He said, "Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed." Cain and Abel was before Noah, so it didn't apply to Cain and Abel.
There's usually covenants. There's if there's a covenant, it's always fulfilled after, or there's something always preceding it. And if the covenant was with humanity, that Genesis 9, we would also have to be executed for the murdering of animals, because Genesis 4 through 5 says that if you kill an animal, you also are. It's life. So you can read it in your own Bible.
Yeah, can you read it, because she's not reading it correctly.
All right.
So
So
for the sake of debate, I'm going to read it. Genesis 9, 4 through 6. But you shall not eat flesh with its life that is its blood. Surely for your lifeblood I will demand a reckoning. From the hand of every beast I will require it. And from the hand of man, from the hand of every man's brother, I will require the life of man. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For the image of God He made man.
For surely for your lifeblood I will require an accounting of every beast And I will require of it of every man who willingly spills another's lifeblood, I will require a reckoning.
Yeah, so the verse that I'm emphasizing here is we shall not eat any life with the lifeblood still in it.
Right, and I agree with that.
We can do that now. Today, if we want to eat, raw meat, we can. It's not unbiblical. It's not breaking the covenant of God. It doesn't break the covenant that supposedly is everlasting. I mean, you also use the Ten Commandments to say, well, it's in the Ten Commandments, the moral principle. No. In the Ten Commandments, it prohibits someone from murdering. It doesn't say that if you murder, you can kill them. So capital punishment is not a moral principle, it's a civil law. While not committing murder is a moral principle. You use the Ten Commandments wrong. The Ten Commandments says don't murder. It doesn't say kill if you murder.
Okay, well, she said that we don't extend the covenant, that covenant doesn't extend to today. I don't know if she still believes it's okay to eat meat with blood in it. I think it's still wrong. It was given in the creation covenant, and we still don't eat meat when there's blood in it. That's still a wrong thing to do.
If someone eats meat with blood in it, is it okay for them to be executed?
I'll let you
Well, that's my
say the final thing.
It's one person.
I'll just do the final say.
Well, that's the mediator's job, so I'm going to take advantage of it.
That's what I'm trying to
You
do.
need to put your foot down.
That's what I'm doing right now. So you have the final say, and then we'll go to another question.
All right, so the final say is if someone was to eat meat with blood still in it and they got executed for it, I don't think that would be very biblical. I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, so is there any other questions?
Can I ask you that?
Nope.
Go ahead. No, we're done. Go ahead.
This goes for both of you. Just as a wonder.
Okay.
You guys both use Romans 13 and the law and all that and the government. And how does all this apply if we have a rogue government that does not go by the rules of God? How does it apply if it's a government that has separated from God? So if a government separates, it also says in Romans 13 at the end what will happen to that. So pretty much, please, can you confirm that? Because pretty much it's saying, okay, you can't kill by as long as you're a good government, and we don't have that. Our government kills every day. It does everything they went, and they justify it by saying, okay, we have a draw line. And there is no such thing to God as a draw line. This is how it is, and that's how it ends.
Right.
And nothing in the middle.
So just keep your answers brief.
She goes for both of us. So.
Yeah.
I believe in civil disobedience. I believe that ultimately there's a priority list. You follow the law of God, then you follow the law of man. Like Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ. So once that authority has separated from the will of God, I have a greater calling. Just like the Nazis, just like in Nazi times, some people were hiding Jews against the law. They knew that it was right. Just like in the Salem witch trials, the law was to murder witches. Some people, lied in their testimonies so that they could save lives. So when it comes to saving lives, especially, I believe in civil disobedience as long as it is under the law of God.
Okay, well, you said the governments are not following what God says. So the question we're debating, is the death penalty biblical? Obviously, the Bible instituted the government. The Bible says this is how government should act. Now, if the government and the world are doing it wrong, that just goes to show they're not following how God has instituted it. We're debating what has God instituted, how has God set the government to run, and we, the people, are supposed to be looking to that. Say, yes, this is how you should run the government, because the Bible said so. This is how it is. Romans 13, you very well pointed that out.
Okay, any more?
Yeah. Okay. So I have a question. Do you believe in so Nazi times, like Anne Frank, they lied to save a life. But if lying is as equal a sin to God as murder, then why not just?
I think that there's a difference between saying an explicit, deceitful lie with the intent of being deceitful, and I think that it's different when you have to lie to save a life because it's a priority. It would be stupid if your mom is if your mom is Jewish and she's under the table and the Nazis come in and they say, "Where's your mom?" Well, she's under the table because I'm gonna lie. So there's a priority. So the sin. Well, the sin is not really. It's not really to lie. The sin is to be deceitful. It's to be cunning, to be malicious, to be deceitful. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's when you're bending the truth and your intentions are malicious. But when it comes to saving a life, or when it comes to being prudent, if somebody asks you if they look fat in that dress and it break their heart, you have to be prudent and you know, and so it's really the intent. I think it's the intent that God judges. It's the heart of the intent.